We just stink!
Stink?
We stink! We stink! We stink! We stink!
Right, today we actually have a double serving of slop in one go. So I hope your bellies are empty. Today the trough is full. Many of you, I'm sure, have been in the internet for a very long time and have experienced multiple fandoms, right? Whether you like it or not, sometimes you will end up talking to the community. I myself have been around for a long time. I'm a fossil at this point. I have Unk status. I have been in the furry fandom, which was a mistake, and I have been in the Undertale fandom, which I used to really enjoy back when we still had Tumblr. I actually used to enjoy the comics, the AUs. Forgot the name of all of them now, but one that I really liked was Drunk Kara. And recently, I have caught up with the Amazing Digital Circus. The Amazing Digital Circus is a very good indie animation produced by Glitch and written by Gooseworks. Pretty sure everyone knows what the Amazing Digital Circus is. I don't think in all my life I have been into such a terrible, toxic, insufferable community such as the TADC community. It's actually incredible how insufferable they are. It's composed of children and adults who still think they're children. The first one, very quickly, it's about the voice actor of Gengo. Barely worth talking about, so I'm gonna go over it very, very quickly. Gengo's voice actor, Marissa Lenti, has recently taken part into a music video featuring Gengo as the character, and the artist for this music video is called Dark Griffin. Dark Griffin has a few allegations against him, saying that he groomed his wife because when they met, his wife was a child and he wasn't, he was an adult, and I don't see how this has anything to do with Marissa. I don't see how this has anything to do with the voice actor. In fact, a lot of the time, the voice actors have no idea who these people are to begin with. Somehow, this one guy on Twitter posted this massive, allegation saying that it's sick, it is terrible that Marissa Lenti took part in this music video with this groomer, and then he botted his likes, and then he started getting a lot of hate for blaming a random voice actor for something that she had no hand on, and then he locked the replies because he's a coward. Right? It's just as Twitter arguments go. Coward makes terrible statement, and then they lock replies. Now, this wouldn't be a big deal if Marissa didn't reply to it. Oh my god. One of the biggest issues we have nowadays is just how incredibly weak these people are, especially these famous people. They need to understand that as voice actors, they sometimes will be representing the characters they voice act. Not because they want to, but because the fan bases of the media they work on are very, very mentally ill. And in this case, she is representing Gengo. And then she replied with a massive apology or understanding statement that I'm not going to read. I haven't read it. I think she should have never made this statement. She should have just stayed quiet. And now that she did, well, look at that. Now she's getting a lot of hate, she's getting a lot of drama. For what reason? For no reason at all. Just because these people are completely mentally ill. So what's the point? Right? Well, what was the point of that? The other drama is a lot deeper. The other drama is it involves the voice actor of Jax, Michael Kovach. It's also like completely ridiculous. It is an absolute circus. It is a shit show. 7 years ago, yeah, we're doing that. Now we're doing that again. Remember back in 2020 when people would just like dig up tweets from 10 years ago and say, "Oh, look at this person, they're very bad." I'm gonna be honest. I am a big Pyrocynical fan. If some of you know who Pyrocynical is, and I've been following him since 2016, then you know that I have many skeletons in my closet. So 7 years ago, they were playing Jackbox. They were still, they were already talking about the Amazing Digital Circus back then. And Michael Kovach made a joke with the word nega for negative. And this is a very common word. We have Eggman nega, we have Negachin.
The Crimson Chin! Wrong! The Negachin!
From Fairly Odd Parents, because it's just a word for negative. If you want to make like an opposite character, if you want to get a character and make the opposite version of that character, just say nega character, like Negasonic, right? It's perfectly fine. It is just a word. It is not the N word. But then they started joking because they misheard this person, and they started joking like, "Oh my god, what did you just say, the N word?" And that was it. They never said the N word. They never said anything like that. And now it's being brought up by these incredibly mentally ill ghouls who follow these shows, like these men children, these massive antisocial people with no jobs. They're bringing it up now and making a big deal out of it. And once again, this idiot goes and apologizes for it. Like, can you guys stop being so spineless? Can you grow a pair? I am begging you. First Marissa with this incredibly stupid statement that has nothing to do with her, and now with, Michael Kovach just goes, "I'm so sorry if I've harmed anyone. You didn't even say the word." And then he says something that I find just incredibly stupid. He dug himself a grave with this one, that he will never be able to say anything like in public again, because he said that because the joke teetered on racist, basically it was funny because the word nega sounds like the N-word, despite not being, well, it is a N-word, but it's not the N-word. And therefore, it is just as bad as saying the actual N-word. Are you crazy? Have you lost your mind? Have you lost your mind? One thing has nothing to do with the other. That is, one word means negative, the other one is a slur. Are you insane? Have you lost it? Sorry, I'm repeating myself. It's so ridiculous, right? Because he could have just stayed quiet. He could have just stayed quiet, this would have blown over. But no, he goes on, makes the worst apology on earth, Locks replies, and there you go. There we have it now we have this drama. Now we have like people on the thousands just spamming, "Oh, he's a racist, he's a racist, he's a racist." These people would never have watched the show anyways. These are not real fans. They're just very mentally ill Tumblrites, right? I like calling them Tumblrites because that's the kind of stuff we used to see on Tumblr, where you would have one person saying something completely inoffensive and it was turned into this big deal because someone somewhere in some part of the world was offended. Man. This is ridiculous. This truly is a nothing burger. Michael Kovach even says people are spamming animal gore on his replies, so he has to lock the replies. That's the reason why it's locked. I think that's just amazing, right? How can you be offended by not the N-word and then start spamming animal gore as revenge? And you think you're on the right. You think you're the good guy. What the fuck? I'm flabbergasted. Perplexed even. Truly. In any case, I wanted to talk about this because they're getting harassed so much, and I think that we don't call out these fandoms enough. The reason why this fandom is this bad is because no one talks about it enough. We have Gooseworks, right? I guarantee you, they hate the fandom. I promise you. Gooseworks, once they're done with the show, they will never touch the fandom again. They will never even mention TADC again. I'm pretty sure we could have had a second season, maybe even like 12 episodes instead of 9, if the fandom wasn't just so incredibly insufferable that made the creator just run away from it. Yeah, that's really about it. I wanted to yap about this because I hate how these people the fandom doesn't get the hate they deserve. They don't get the hate they deserve. Moral of the story: be like Toby Fox. Don't interact with the Westerns. Just interact with the Japanese. They're cool. They're really cool. Anyways, sub and follow me on Twitter.